We are live. It is 3:04 Central Standard Time in the United States, 9:04 GMT in the UK. This is the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Coming to you live this 11th day of January 2026. Yeah, that's right, folks. Another new year, new me, new year. Who dis? I don't know.
Same me.
Same me. Same us. Same show. Maybe we're talking about different stuff. Other than that, I don't know what I did. This is what happens when you get older. So this is what you have to look forward to, folks who are in the chat, who are maybe not in the mid 40s, getting to 50. I'm 51 in July. I don't know what I did. I think have you had this happen to you where you wake up and you just your shoulders jacked up, like you don't know what's going on, but there's this,
that can happen even when you're younger, to be honest.
It gets when you get older. You wake up and I'm like, I can understand if I'm playing football or I'm, shooting or I'm doing a hiking or whatever, and you do something, right? And you hurt yourself, you sprain an ankle or you pull a quad or whatever. You kind of expect there to be an injury. You don't expect to fall asleep and wake up and then something hurts. It's like, I don't know what is going on. Why? Anyways, it's like right here. It just sucks. It happened, I think it happened a couple of days ago. I don't remember. I woke up this morning. I bent over and I went to try to put the collar on the dogs. And it's like, go. Yeah, it was enough to make me it actually woke me up out of a sleep in the middle of the night. I guess I moved my arm in such a way that made it go, ow. And then it woke me up. I was like, oh, God. So, yeah, get ready, folks. Stuff just starts to hurt. I guess it's like an old car, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You need a new master cylinder. Your joint, the CV boot might be, boots torn. You might need a new head gasket. Whatever. I don't know. It just stuff just hurts. I don't know what's going on. Anywho, enough of that depression.
Oh, do you know what make you feel better, Sam? We've got a good crowd in the chat there.
Scoops in the chat. Jimmy Fire Dragon. I saw Andrew's in there. Luis is there. So we did have a guest today. It was going to be Taylor. However, he had something come up, so he had to dip out. So we will reschedule
family,
that.
So fair enough.
Hey, you know what? This isn't exactly like something at the White House or you're not going to go to Buckingham Palace. This isn't the Joe Rogan experience. You're not going away for him. I get it. So family comes first, and at the end of the day, we're going to have Taylor on again. We'll just reschedule it for another time. No big deal.
Yeah, man.
So then we didn't have a backup plan. So we are the backup.
Is us. We are the backup.
We are the backup plan. Anyway, the other good thing, kicking is hard. And yes, the Bears did win. I will tell you that by halftime, they were losing 21-3. I just turned it off because here's the deal. I am bad luck to any sports team that I'm a fan of. I'm telling you, whenever there's a major game, I want to watch, and I did. I watched the first half, and they look terrible. And I'm telling you, I'm causing them bad juju. They do not look good. This is a bad game. So I just turned it off. I was like, I'm just going to go to bed. I wasn't super. I was tired anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. I woke up thinking I'm going to look at the score, and it's going to be, the Packers wound up winning. No big deal. Who cares? I mean, that will bother me. Only because the Bears, I wanted them to win the game, but also I just hate losing to the Packers because I just absolutely can't stand the Green Bay Packers. Anyway, I tell you, they want to win in the game. Yes, kicking is hard. 2 field goals missed. Hey, you know what? Bears lost a playoff game a while ago on a double doink. Kicking sucks. I get it, man. I've seen, 2 missed field goals. Yeah, if you miss field goals and you give away points, that's usually what's going to burn you. This is my counter argument to that because I used to be a punter back in the day. I wasn't a field goal kicker because it's too stressful. Field goal kicking is, I always made this comment. If you lose by a point because your kicker missed a kick, your team had 59 minutes of play to score a touchdown or whatever, right? It's not just the kicker. They scored, they wound up losing the game, but the defense gave up 31 points, that's 28 points in the second half. That's 4 touchdowns your team gave up so it's defense, special teams. I'm telling you, it's what gets you every time. Bears have been kicking's hard, especially at Soldier Field. It's windy. It's not a dome stadium. Kicking sucks. And I wasn't a fan of McManus. I'm a fan of him now. Thank God that he missed a couple of kicks. So anyway, the Bears move on. It is the playoffs. So I'm happy that the Packers lost. So they're out.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the Bears did it to them. That's even better. I don't care. Honest to God, if the Bears, I want them to continue to win, and if they won a Super Bowl, it'd be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen. Just the fact they won this game and won one for the first time in 15 years of the playoffs and then beat the Packers. If they lose next week, I'd actually be okay. I'd actually be kind of I'd be okay with that. I'm like, you know what? It's a good season, building for the future.
So just quickly, Sam, you said you was a punter. I've been a punter as well in my past.
I have a feeling it has a different that's a different term in the UK.
Yeah, when I'm in the pub, I'm a punter.
Okay, so explain for us non-British people what that means. Does that mean you're
it's
paying
just
for the
another word
drinks
for
or
customers, punters?
Oh, punters. Okay, got it. Customers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, I mean, that makes sense. I wonder what the etymology of that would like. What does that come from? Like, I don't know. Sometimes it makes.
Up.
I'm not going to Google it. I'm not going to. Let's look it up. So
while
he's doing that, so while he's doing that,
you carry on your story,
Yeah, that was it. And then so we are here. Bears move on. I don't know who they're going to play next week. I mean, they're playing NFC and AFC games today. Matter of fact, I just happened to check. Oh, well, oh man, the Bills won. Okay. Whew. That was a closer game than I thought it would be. Jaguars are pretty good. Bills win. So there's 2 more games. There's another AFC game and another NFC game later tonight. So that's cool. We'll see how that shakes out. And then the Bears will play, I'm sure, probably this winner. I would assume it's the winner of this Philadelphia Niners game. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yes, and you're right. The double doink kicking is hard. Bears have been on the back end. There's a lot of teams that have lost games because of missed field goals that have come back to bite them. Or literally that was the kick. They make this kick. They win the game. They miss the kick. They lose the game. It's literally been last second. That field goal kicking is stressful, man. If you can find a good kicker and they're fairly accurate and they can be clutch, keep that person on your team because kicking is hard. Punting is hard. Not the punting in the UK where you're at the pub just having a pint or 6.
That's the real kicker, Sam. Punting is hard.
Punting is hard. Yeah, that's right.
The real kicker.
That's the real kicker. Anyway, we are done with CES. We did not go.
Yeah.
We've never gone. I've watched it a lot.
I was waiting for someone to sponsor us, but it just didn't happen this time.
That's not going to happen. I don't even think, honestly, I don't think podcasts ever go. We're not really considered tech journalists. I'm not a reviewer. This guy, I always point the wrong way every time. Joe is. And check out his channel, Screen on Time YT. He reviews. So he's been to events, and then we're going to talk about the event he actually went to because he ran into a good buddy of ours, which is kind of cool. And I was going to ask you, how did the honor event go? Because I know we discussed it last week, and I saw a picture. I don't know if you're following him on Instagrams and the channel. You should probably have known that. But how'd that go? How was that event for you?
Yeah, it's really, really good. Lovely event. Obviously, I didn't learn anything particularly new on the devices because I already had it since November. But it was good fun. They had a load of things set up after the keynote after the press conference of all the details. They had an 8 light and a little basketball net, and you would up 2 meters high, and people were throwing the 8 light into the basketball net. So just to show the durability, there was another little thing set up, so a rubbery mallet, and people were smacking it down on it. Obviously, it was a rubbery mallet, but still, you wouldn't just confidently do that with other devices, would you? There was 2 8 lights also in blocks of ice, which one they did during the keynote. They not hammered it out, obviously very gently, but they still hammered it out. But it's more to show that the device works at extreme temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
So even in ice, it was working perfectly fine, which is quite impressive. Also for the durability, it's got 100% no ingress for dust. So 100%. So that's amazing. I think, honestly, the 8 light, for if you don't need the powerful chipset and the best cameras, the 8 light's a really, really great device. Really, really great device. But obviously, the star of the show is the 8 Pro, which I'm still working on my review, Sam, which is why I feel knackered. But yeah, what do you want to know about the event? Anything you want to talk about?
I just realized I'm wearing the wrong shirt. Stand by.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Oh boy, yikes! I just noticed it. Hold on a second. One moment.
I don't know what he's going to get. I'm a bit afraid here. It could be anything with Sam. You guys know. Sam's a bit mental, isn't he? Hey? The event was good though, guys. We got free drinks afterwards, which is always nice. One bad thing though is when I went to get a train home, there was signal failures, and I couldn't get fully home, and I had to share an Uber with two randoms. I didn't get home till 2 a.m., which was rubbish, and I had work the next day. But oh well, these things happen. That's life. Have any of you guys got an 8 Lite or 8 Pro thinking of getting one?
There we go. Sorry
it's
about that.
the X9D, Jimmy.
So anyway,
X9D
I
is
changed
on.
shirts. It's because I had the wrong shirt on. And long story short, I don't know. I have never been officially told that I'm not supposed to do that. It's weird. So it's no secret. And here's the thing: if people really want to know where I work, you can go on LinkedIn, look it up. I think
It's NASA.
It's not NASA. It's not NASA. However, anyway, when I first did the show, going back to this real quick aside. So when I did the original show with Across the Podcast, in order for me to do the show, I had to submit the show to work. They actually had to review the show. Right, because here's the thing: where I work, and I'll get to where it's getting weird all of a sudden lately. Where I work, they have to review it because I'm not allowed to really discuss financial stuff and all political stuff on a show, and I wouldn't anyway because I don't really want to talk about that in public because I don't really care that much. I mean, we dab a little bit now. I will talk about something that's political if it involves the SEC or a tech thing or whatever. Like Juan talks about the FCC and when Ajit Pai was in charge of that in the last administration. So I get all that. However, this show I've never really did that, even though what's the story of the shirt? Okay. So anyway, if you want to go back and rewind the last, I don't know, to the beginning of the show, you can look and see where I work. It's on the shirt that I was just wearing. I usually take it off. I forgot about it. I didn't even think about it. It's been a long day. Anyway, so here we are. Anyway, we're going to keep going, plowing through. So I switched shirts. We're good. I'm now in compliance. But it's weird because now they got this thing where they want us to talk about the bank and, and how we are community focused and serving the public and all that kind of stuff, which is weird because for a long time, ever since I've ever worked there, they told us basically you can't do anything. Don't ever. All the opinions I express on the show are clearly not I do not represent my company when I say this. So all these things they talk about phones and tech and profanity and hating the Packers, all that stuff, being with Joe, who's
never
right, have nothing to do with the fact I do not speak on behalf. That is not the official position of where I work. I just got to put it out there. There you
Disclaimer's
go.
done.
Disclaimer's done. I just keep moving on. So anyway, yeah, and I know what's the difference between price from the
price difference. So quite a big difference. The Pro is $1,099 in the UK, and the 8 Lite is $399. So big difference. God. Yeah, but the hardware differences are massive, really, when you look at it. Okay. All round, it's got a lot going for it on the Pro. So for example, the 8 Lite doesn't have wireless charging. It has got a bigger battery though.
Not a deal breaker. I mean, if you're not a
no, it's not a deal breaker, especially with the bigger battery. It's a 7,500 milliamp hour battery, silicon carbon as well. But obviously, camera wise, it's got the massive 200 megapixel telephoto of a 1/1.4 inch sensor. The main is a 50 megapixel 1/1.3 inch sensor. So 2 huge sensors on the main and telephoto. So they're miles better. On the Pro, one thing I really love, which is on no other Android device, is it's got a 3D depth time of flight sensor on the front. So you've got face unlock that you can use in the dark, as well as normal day to day. But it's also got the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner as well. So there is loads of hardware stuff there that warrants the price jump. Well, and what I will say as well. Go on.
But I
Go on.
mean, so when on the face unlock, would it authenticate to banking apps? Is it
Yeah. Of
kind of
course.
like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I just like I said, I mean, we don't have Honor here in the US.
Yeah. I love
Honestly,
it.
now is there's just an Honor, right? Or Honor 8. Is there just a mid tier? Is there a phone in between that, or is it just the Pro and the
Well,
Lite and that's it? Like I don't know.
at least in the UK, they've not launched an 8, and I've not seen in China either. There used to be a middle one, but I think
So basically, you got to go all in and the top tier
yeah,
at $10.99 or the Lite at $3.99. Okay.
yeah. Basically, because they do so many other devices, I think they've just done a Lite and a Pro this time round.
Okay. Do they have any like middle ground between the Pro on any device, or is that just like Honor has right now? Is
I mean, like last year, the 7 there was a middle ground, and
they
like the
didn't do that this
400.
year.
No.
Although
Although
is that
Sam,
delayed?
there is rumors
Okay.
of a Pro Air, 8 Pro Air,
Like
which
a
could be a
thin
middle
one?
ground, maybe.
Is it like that kind of
Yeah,
thing?
a
Jesus,
thin one. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who did it. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was in the chat. Oh yeah, it was. It was in the chat with the tech lads with Taylor and Bonnie and Louise and stuff. Somebody made the comment about how it's like it's blatant. It's like blatant. I guess it's blatant ripoffs. It's blatant ripoffs. So basically, the Chinese devices look just like iPhones. Even call it the 8. I mean the Air. I mean Jesus. I mean I mean it's like you basically call it the same damn thing. And I get it. You know, it's the way it is. And then my comment was,
but then you could say the same thing for Apple calling their watch Ultra. You know, I mean the Ultra wasn't with them first.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand, but you know, I mean, there's only
they all copy
Ultra.
each other, Sam. Like let's be real. Everyone is copying each other, whether it's Apple, Google, Samsung, Honor. They're all copying each other.
It just stinks. I don't know. I mean, you could have called it the 8 Lite Mini. You could have called it the Thinny. I don't care. Whatever.
Mini's been used as well. They say, "Oh, they're copying iPhone again." So
right. Well, but I get it. But I mean, clearly the OS and clearly some of these phones, they definitely do take, especially their hardware design, does share a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
With Apple.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I get it. That's and I mean, if you're going to copy a hardware design, why not Apple? I mean, their hardware is really, really good. I've never.
Sam, look up the Honor Power.
Oh boy, do I
in orange. In orange.
Jeez. Oh. Okay. Let's. We're doing some homework. Okay. Power. Okay. Yeah. The Honor Power. All right. Oh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much okay. Yeah. So let's go. Let's do this. Although to be fair, I see where it's coming from. I clearly I don't have it in the orange, but we'll Share the screen. Is my colleague at work likes this.
Share. Right, nice one.
I'm.
Robot sounds back. What's going on, Sam? Here we go. It's happening.
Oh, I know what. Stand by.
Oh, close them tabs, Sam.
Hold on.
Close them dodgy tabs.
I was connecting to. Okay. Hopefully that gets better. Sorry about that. I was connecting to the wrong. Hold on. Is that better? Sorry.
Yeah, you're better now. Much better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I get it, but here's the thing. Here's the Honor Power. I think this more looks like the Huawei. Which one was it?
I can't see your screen, but maybe the others can.
Let me see. I don't know. Let's see. Let me try to reshare it again because I was in the middle of this. So hold on a second. So
we've got a question in there though, Sam, in the chat. We'll have
to. That's what it looks like. I mean, obviously, it's not the.
Oh no! The newer one. That's like an old one.
The Honor.
Oh, sorry. I thought you'd know the new one. Oh, he's left me. He's that upset with me. Like I just, like I said, Honor's Power. Sorry, mate. I'm really sorry, Sam. Come back. Anyway, yeah, I think the iPhone iFold will be brilliant, no doubt. I don't think they would release a Fold without it be brilliant, but it's going to be very expensive, isn't it? Without a doubt.
Okay. We are
Yeah,
all
it'll be interesting to see.
okay. I don't know why that happened. So let me see if I can share. I was
I
supposed to
explained
share.
that you was upset with me.
No, not at all. I'm just having a bad day. We're not professional here. Okay. So the Honor Power 2. That looks a whole hell of a lot more. The last one looked kind of like the Huawei. Was it like
look more.
Was it like the P50,
design.
P60? Yeah, I get it. That clearly is utterly an iPhone copy. I mean, that is there. Look, let's call it what it is, folks. I mean, this is literally a straight rip off of it.
This is not going to be a global one, though.
It doesn't matter.
Basically,
It does,
what they're
it
doing,
exists.
what you can see they're trying to do though in China is it's an iPhone with a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. Yeah, it's not going to have a very good camera though, I don't think. But look at the dimensions; it's quite thin. Well, it's not too bad.
It's quite thin.
Yeah. Considering that battery.
This thing will probably last for two or 3 months.
It comes in black though, Sam, which was a big thing with the Pro Max, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you got 12 gig, 500 Elite. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, honestly, I would.
We're still getting Robot Sam
better
again,
life
Sam.
is.
Is it my bandwidth that's the problem? Or?
No. Why can't I? Hold on. Jesus, hold on.
Holding on.
Okay, all right, is that better?
Yeah, it's working good now.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's whatever. Sorry, I'm fighting my internets today. It's definitely me, it's not Joe. So at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, clearly Honor and Xiaomi, these companies are clearly ripping off iPhone. They're ripping off the design. They're literally straight copies. And here's the thing: at the risk of being kind of that guy, it's kind of what the Chinese do. That's kind of what they do, man. Like, that's how they get down. I mean, they just don't. I mean, if you talk to anybody who's in corporate space, anybody who's in, don't even talk about military applications, right? And how the Chinese basically went from in the mid 80s and 90s to having essentially Soviet era technology. And all of a sudden now they've got all this other technology. I don't think they developed it by themselves. Possibly they may have reverse engineered some stuff. Probably engaged in some corporate and military espionage to steal secrets. I mean, that's what the Chinese kind of do. I mean, that's just how they are.
I think that's what everyone does around the world.
Right. And they're really good at it. And they're blatant about it. Like, they don't even try to cover the fact that this is essentially an iPhone copy, which is fine. Again, I've never had a problem with the iPhone. The hardware has always been great. I mean, whatever. So it's cool. I think 10,000 milliamp. I'm curious what the runtime of that's going to be. I'm curious. Do you have access to that phone? Is that China?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a China only, that one, as far as I know. Because they do a Win, the Honor Win as well, which is like a gaming device they're doing now. Again, that will be China only. I had the 400 Pro. There's a 500 Pro coming out, but that'll be China only.
Well, that's fine.
We'll get the 600 when that comes out.
We're gonna go back to the chat here. So, how do I think an iPhone Fold? Yeah, sure. I honestly would have thought they would have went with the Flip. That would have been my. I thought that's where they would go first, because I think that's where they're kind of losing ground. I think a lot of people, again, my daughter, I have a real world example. She just doesn't really want to fold. She really wanted the Flip. I thought they'd go there because I think that's where they're losing a lot of the customers. I think that iPhone customers are looking at the two form factors, and I think some of them are going to the Fold, but I think a lot of them would go to the Flip just because it turns into the form factor that they're used to. Fold for an iPhone user who's been a long time iPhone user, it might be a bridge too far for them form factor wise. I obviously, to be fair, I'm about that foldable life, so I can see. But I think for most people who are just trying to come from the iPhone world, I get it. So I think it's going to be fine. I think they'll sell. I think they would sell more flips than they would folds. But what this is and this is just my personal opinion about this. I don't have any like empirical data. I'm not an industry insider. I think this is Apple freaking out a little bit. I don't think they're ready for this. I don't think they want to do this. I think
I think
iPhone,
they have been working on it for some time though.
I again, well, they have been because
Mhm.
and who makes the screens? Samsung,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So let's call it a buck. Again, I don't think Apple wants to do this. I think Apple has done a great job of giving customers what they think customers want, and I think that they really do lean into kind of the walled garden. I don't want to say cultish because that's harsh, but definitely they definitely try to keep their folks inside of iPhone and iOS and the
Yeah.
eco, which is fine. I think every manufacturer does that.
Mhm.
I think if Apple left to their own devices would just keep pumping out iPhone after iPhone every year and making upgrades and upgrading the camera and maybe getting a better screen, better battery, and doing those kind of things. But I think honestly, if it wasn't for the success of the flips and folds and then them seeing that people are actually getting tired, I think iPhone users are finally deciding that they have some voice in the game. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of them are starting to say, man, it's the same goddamn phone every single year, and we're getting sick of it. After like, I think they had the 10 and the 10R. I think that was a shift, right, from the 8s, right, the 8 pluses, and I think that was a killer phone. I think that change, again, it was kind of hard because it got rid of the home button, right, and so that was controversial. But iPhone has been doing all that, getting rid of the headphone jack, getting rid of the home button, getting rid of physical controls for Face ID, which is amazing, by the way. I mean, Face ID is awesome.
Yeah.
I think
It was
honestly,
very good.
I think that they were coming up with this and they kind of had it in the back seat just as a contingency, like, hey, if this kind of picks up, we may have to make one, but we
'Cause they
really don't
have to.
want to make
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Right. I think now that they're coming out with this in 2026, I think it's because they're having to. I think people are finally starting to go, iOS and Apple needs to do something because they did that back in the day with the 3GS, right? They
Mhm.
literally the iPhone literally killed every phone that wasn't an Android device, right? It literally killed off Palm, killed off BlackBerry, killed off Windows Phone. It literally
Yeah.
destroyed all that stuff. And the only reason Android even had a chance is because Google could kind of pivot and kind of move, and Samsung. But I mean, it killed LG, it killed HTC. Windows phones are gone. I mean, right now, and Samsung really is. They're the ones that really pushed the technology, and Huawei, right? Foldable
Mhm.
screens, flippable screens, different form factors, larger batteries, faster charging. That happened as a counterpoint.
I think it's the
I
money to go scale in America. I think other brands were doing great stuff, but yeah, to go large, isn't it? That's the thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, and in the United States is an important market, but it's not the only market. Obviously, you have China,
No, no,
India,
exactly.
Europe, clearly.
Mhm.
But I think for the United States, but the problem is iPhone across the world really doesn't have the same level of traction. I think iOS and Android and Apple doesn't. I don't think they want to do this. I don't think that they think that this is the way. I think they've always believed that this was a niche. It was kind of cool, but it wasn't going to take off. It wasn't going to take off. You know what I mean? I think they were just kind of like, let's go ahead and start cooking one in their little skunk works or whatever, right? At the end of the day. And I think if they thought the trend was downward and people didn't want that and they want to go back to just a slab phone, then they could just basically go, well, it's kind of dying off. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to develop it.
What
I think
leaks
they
and
have to.
rumors have you seen, Sam? Because the stuff I've seen looks impressive. So it's like a more of a passport size, and there's going to be literally no crease. That's the rumors. But boy, is it going to be expensive.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, and honest
Yeah.
to God, and I mean seriously, when it comes to expense, it's Apple, right? People kind of
Mhm.
expect that thing to be expensive, and I just think
Yeah.
it's going to be funny that we're at this point where, and I think at this point, and maybe this is. I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm thinking, I wonder if this is designed this way. Like they've decided to like say, okay, look, same phone. People are pissed off. They want something new, something different, something right. And they've seen these other phones, and Apple says, okay, cool. And then they go, well, we made something different, and they're going to charge a shit ton of money for it. And people are going to buy it because they're so thirsty. They'll drink the sand kind of thing. And I think they see that and they go, iOS has a foldable. Let's get it. Right. And it's because it's, they can go to their friends and say, not only do I have a phone, but I also have a foldable iPhone. So I can get the same thing that these Android people have been clamoring about forever. And I think I will tell you that every time I use my Fold, I used it this morning. I was at a coffee shop and I opened up my Fold. Right. And I use it. And the guy goes, does that phone fold? I go, yeah. He goes, what is that? It's like one of those Samsung phones. Yeah, it's a Samsung. He's like, oh, I mean, it's never an Android person, right? It's always an iOS person. And so I think that the reason why they're coming out the Fold is because they have to. I think it'll sell great. I think
I think, like you say, it's a status thing. So some people get the Pro Max, but they don't need it, but they just want the best iPhone that Apple do. I think you're bang on there. There will be a crowd of people that will take the Fold as the best iPhone that's there.
Well, also too, it's new, and so people are like, oh, finally, they'll think that Apple finally listened to us. They see what Samsung's doing, and they don't. And again, remember those folks.
It's a flex. Yeah, pun intended.
I'll be here all week. You can tip your waitress anyway. But I think it's two of those things, right? I think both things can be true at once. I think it's finally an iPhone, and then they're finally saying, hey, look, Apple's listening to us. And I think if they come up with a phone that's, it starts at $19.99 for the 256, and then they have a 512 that's $22.99, and then they have a 512 that's $2,500, and maybe they've got the throw down 1 terabyte kick, full on version, might be $29.99. And again, in the United States, remember, most people are not buying off contract. They're not buying these phones straight away.
True. Yeah.
They're basically subsidizing these phones. And I know for a fact that Apple, at least at AT&T, because I can only speak to AT&T, because that's the only carrier I've ever traded up phones with. Well, take that back. I actually got a phone out of T-Mobile. I did try that once. But they give you such credit for like iPhones. It's crazy. Like I think Becky upgraded from the 12 to the 16. I think she might be paying like $8 a month because they gave her such a great credit. It's almost like basically trading up the phone. I think that will totally continue. Now, may not be one for one. They may not say, hey, okay, you've got an iPhone 8 Plus. We're going to let you get this Fold, right? But I think that the trade-in deals are going to be so good because I think Apple is going to want engagement.
In the US, that is.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, in the other parts of the world, they're not going to do that. In the US, through the carriers, through Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T, they're going to give some pretty good deals because they want units to go off the shelves. They want this thing to be a success. They can't make a foldable and no Apple user buys it. That would be absolutely devastating.
I'd be shocked if that was the case. Yeah.
And I think they have enough money. They're $1 trillion company. It's $1 trillion evaluated company. I think they will make sure they tell carriers. I guarantee it. At carriers, you won't be able to walk. They'll put a goddamn billboard outside of the store when you first pull in the parking lot of an AT&T or a T-Mobile store or a Verizon store. And you don't think there's going to be a marketing campaign for it? I guarantee you that it's going to be in the Super Bowl, all that shit. They're going to announce it, and they're going to tell people, you know what? No more of that watching your person who's an Android user. They don't have the rights to have the Fold. You can have a Fold too, and the iMessages and all.
And they'll say, but with the right form factor, they'll say because of the passport,
right? And the passport factor, which I would argue is probably better. Again,
I think there's definitely an argument there for that.
I think Apple trust me, they don't do anything half-ass. Right, and they're never caught totally.
Anyway,
when it comes to marketing, no, they are clearly the market. Their marketing, their devices. Well, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, but I know I think it'll be successful. Well, and then finally, and that like I told you before, I said it years ago when we first started the show when Apple was talking about a foldable. When Apple finally has a foldable or flippable, that is when, at least in the United States, that becomes a real form factor. That is now for the mainstream. It's ready for prime time. You should all have foldables and flippables and stuff, right? When Apple does it in the US, that's going to kick off a whole bunch of people in the US.
2026. Is it going to be 20 this year that's coming?
I don't know. I
Is
mean, I
that
guess
the
that's the
rumor?
rumor. I guess
Yeah.
that's rumor.
I mean, if that's the case, 2026 for folding devices can be really exciting because you've got Moto bringing out their fold, which looks nice. Motorola bringing theirs to the game.
It looks great, but I just don't. At least in the AT&T is getting rid of Moto carriers, so that I guarantee AT&T. I know AT&T won't carry the Moto Fold, and so that's not going to go nowhere because nobody's going to see it in the United States.
Well, in Europe, we'll love it.
I would love to. I told you before. I said I really thought that I would love to have a Moto Fold. That would be pretty cool.
And I love the V5 from Honor, and the V6 looks tasty as hell. Even more further refinements. I mean, I don't know how they can, but yeah. So yeah, it's exciting for folds if that's the case. 2026, the year of folds.
And I love Luis. I know that he's an Apple fan. I get it. But here's the thing: Apple software is not going to be optimized for any kind of. I mean, they're going to. Luckily, they have the iPad, so they're used to having tablet forms. How they make that transition between does it dynamically know open is iPad closed? Because remember, we've had issues with iPad OS and iOS. They're not the same. I don't think that's the same build. I don't even think it's the same kernel or backend. I think it shares a lot of things, but I don't think so. I think people will be willing to forgive iPhone Fold or iFold software if it's a little janky because it's a first generation product. I think we need to be fair here. iOS, Apple is making their first foldable. Let's go back to the original Fold, right, from Samsung. It's definitely after 7 iterations, it's definitely refined. I don't want to be unfair to Apple. I think that first one, the software might be a little screwy, right? But honestly, iOS, no offense, I'm gonna go back and I work in software development, at least tangentially. I'm not a developer per se, but I do work for people who do development work, and I'm telling you, every time I turn around iOS 26 and within a week there's iterative updates, and it's every single time. And it's like it's not because it's security vulnerability or 0 day. That's not true. And we all know it's 26.0.1 is an iterative update because they launched it and then they have to fix some bug bullshit, and they're iterating, and now we're already what? Hold on a minute. I can tell you. I know exactly, right? So how long has iOS 26 been out? 6 months? Maybe 6 months. I don't know. I really don't care. It doesn't matter. So already on my work phone, we're already up to 26.2. That's where we are already. Right. So it's been 6 months. So we've not only had iterative updates, we've now have versions, right? We're at 26.2, and it hasn't even been 5 months. And iOS has been doing that since the beginning. Don't even get it twisted.
I'm 26.2.
And anybody who has iOS, go back to iOS 12 or 8 or whatever. By the time you're ready for iOS 9, you're at 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. That is literally 6 versions and possibly 3 iterations of each version. That's 18 different iterations and versions before the next year. That's 12 months. My application that I work on, we do 2 releases a year. And we're still on the same 5 dot whatever, right? So that's the way iOS is. And so let's call it a buck. I think they'll be fine. I think that the iPhone Fold, or whatever they're going to call it, the iPhone, what are they talking about? The Fold Ultra? iPhone, I don't know what they're going to call it. Who knows? But I think they'll be okay.
There is rumors that it's going to be the Ultra, isn't it? So you'll have the Pro Max, then you'll have the Ultra.
The Clicks, and then let's talk about Clicks Communicator. I don't think, let's shift off of Apple because all this iOS talk is making me upset.
Yes, please.
Yep. Yeah, so we're done. No offense, I love iOS, but not really. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, I don't think Michael Fisher and the Clicks team, I don't think they had any idea it was going to take off like this. I think they were going to announce it, and yeah, we got some interest. I think it's been completely bonkers. I think people have looked into it. I think people are talking about it. I think people are a lot of people are really optimistic, even if they're not really physical keyboard fans per se. I think it's kind of gotten kind of out of control. I don't think that they anticipated any kind of level of engagement that this has really had. I think it's kind of cool. Like
it's got a lot going for it though, hasn't it? It's got a lot going for it. Like
yeah, I think so. It's different, but not really. It's more retro than different, right? It's something you're used to.
There's loads of being a secondary device, but I think it could really be for certain people a really good main device. I haven't got hands on yet, obviously, but yeah, I really want to get hands on. You pre-ordered, didn't you, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. So at the end of the day, this is really where if you're an old school, think about it, if you're an old school Android person, we're kind of back to that, right? Let's think about it. LED indicator, right? I kind of like the fact it's on the ring around the button.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Very smartly done. Very smartly
right
done.
I think that's a good idea. Right now, the button on the top, it's on the side. We're back to a SD card. And where everybody's gotten away from it, they're right into it. Headphone jack. I understand when I say that you don't need a headphone jack, that's true. You don't. You have earbuds, right? You can get a dongle, right? I've got it, right? It's I got the dongle, right? If I have to use wired earbuds,
business use device, it could be the perfect one.
Right. And we're going back to all the things that people complained about losing: headphone jack, SD card support, a physical keyboard. I think there needs to be a market for that, because I do think there are people who are older, who are like me, who remember BlackBerry, who remember, the Palm Pre, all these other keyboard devices. Now, is that going to be for everybody? No, clearly not. There are people who don't. I wouldn't buy an iPhone as a primary device. The iPhone Fold comes out. I'd like to try it. I'm curious about it, but can I use that as a daily driver? I just don't think so. Just as much as I hate iOS and I'm not a fan of it, and hate's a strong word, I just don't prefer it. But I think the fact that they're getting into that thing, I think is cool. But I think this serves for a lot of people retro, right? You're back to an SD card. I mean, how many times have people complained about how much is a 1 terabyte SD card right now on like Amazon? Like maybe 50 quid? Maybe?
I don't know. I've not looked because I've not had one for ages.
Yeah, you never had, because you don't have to buy one anymore.
Yeah.
But the fact that these companies will say, okay, well, if you want 256 versus 512 versus a terabyte, what's the difference on an iPhone between 256 and a terabyte of storage? Was it like $400, right? Maybe but
it's normally 150 each one, is it?
Right. So it's okay. So let's say the bump is $300, right? And to get it to a terabyte. But if you get an SD card, if the phone came with 512 or 256, now you add an SD card slot card for, a terabyte. Now you're at a terabyte, 1.2 terabytes, essentially 1.25 terabytes. And you spend $50 and then you can take it out and put it into any other device. It's a physical media. I think people still want physical media. I know cloud storage is great. Cloud access is great because it's easy. But I think people want to go back to that. I think it does serve some kind of market. And the fact that Mr. Mobile did that and his company's doing that, especially I think the Clicks, the MagSafe thing, it's kind of slick. That's a kind of an interesting, because you got kind of like the, you've got the slidable, right? You got the sidekick kind of jam going on. I think that's I think it's a nostalgic play. And if you ever watch Michael Fisher, as a general rule, he's about when phones were cool. He's about the nostalgia.
And well, he has a whole segment of videos called When Phones Were Cool. So yeah, definitely.
I think it's awesome. Again, it's for a segment of people. If you're an iPhone person and you don't care, and you want your slab phone and you think it's stupid that you should have an on-screen keyboard and you're losing all that real estate and this isn't your jam, totally cool. I think we're okay with that. But I think I don't think he assumed that it was going to be this talked about and had this much buzz. I think it's really going to be the phone that's talked about mostly in 2026 for
Oh,
all
techies.
the tech people.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Yeah.
people who aren't tech people don't know it exists, which is fine.
Yeah, probably. And that probably, do you think it will do any good to like your average people, your average consumers? No.
No, I think average consumers. Well, think about it. Who is the average consumer? Right. So think about
So
anybody who is
the only reason I
18
think
to
it might,
30.
right, Sam, the only reason I think it might because of there are people shouting out, right, for an old school BlackBerry that they can text on because they hate smartphones. They don't want a smartphone. And I know this because I work in the industry in a store. So there's a lot of people that do not want smartphones. They want a more simple device. And this might meet their needs. And the price is not bad as well. It's much cheaper than a lot of the smartphones out there. So I think if it was marketed the right way, and if the US networks jump on board, because that's a big thing, of course, I think it has got a really good place in the market. I'm all for it, but I'm a positive guy.
Well, yeah, well, again, you're in the industry. You see people come in and out of your store all the time asking about that. So, yeah, and my team won last night, so I don't really give a shit. I'm gonna see who all shakes out. I'll watch all the rest of the footballs. Like, here's the thing: I watch NFL football, but I don't give a fuck about anybody else other than the Bears. So we'll let all those teams play, right? And then whoever the Bears play next week, I'll give a shit about that. But yeah, I can take a week. I actually watched both games yesterday. Well, I didn't watch the Bears until halftime because they were sucking. But yeah, yeah, I think this is true. That I like the form factor of Passport, and I think that's a good because remember when Google did their Fold, their first one, it was Passport style, but they kind of, like refine it a little bit. So I don't. Yeah, I think they already have regular phones, and I think that's fine. We'll see. Again, I think it's interesting they're going to a Fold first. I don't know if that's the play.
Like you say, maybe that was forced.
Would have been the play, but
yeah, maybe that was forced.
I don't know. Who knows? That was forced. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm trying to catch up to the comments. You guys are being great today in these comments. It's crazy, right?
It's good.
Oh, it's okay. You know what? It's on the internet, so somebody's gonna know it, and I don't really give a shit. Like I said, if you have LinkedIn, go look my name up. You can see it. I don't care. It's fine. Everything is good. Although last so we'll get back to that in a second. So I think it's okay. I think the iPhone Fold will be successful. I think Apple's going to market the shit out of it. I'm kind of curious to see. I wonder if they have a Fold. That obviously the Fold comes out. I wonder if they have a flip kind of happening, or are they just kind of like, I don't really know. So he said it's supposed to be September. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm okay. Yeah. iOS 26. Well, it's a massive change, right? And they got the liquid glass and how they're going to do it with iOS and iPad OS. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. No offense. I don't give Apple any open. It's their shit, right? It's their OS. They've been working on it for 20 fucking years. I mean, seriously. I mean, if you guys haven't figured out by now how to make this work for your shit, then you need to hire some new app developers and you need to find some UI UX guys. Because I mean, seriously, it's not like it's anybody else. It's not like you have to share this and like we have to put this across a dozen devices and it's like Android. It's iOS. You guys should be able to figure this after what? What was the original iOS? Like 1 or 2 or 3? This is what, the 15th iteration of iOS. You guys still can't figure it out after all this time with the hardware, and you guys own it. You own the entire stack, hardware and software, and nobody at Apple can figure this out. Come on, man, get out of here with that bullshit. I mean, seriously. I don't want to hear it. As a person who works in software development, and no, we give them a way much of a pass on this. And it's like, you own all the hardware, you own all the software. It's running on one set of devices, and you control the entirety of all the stack development, all the hardware, all the software, all the kernel. Come on, stop. You guys should have figured this out after 15 goddamn years. It's the same fucking OS. Seriously, let's time out. Okay. All right. So Oh well, so Click Communicator is not for the mass average. Oh God, no, I agree, and I hope it is. I hope that people can kind of get involved in a possibility of, I think that the minimal phone's kind of nice, right?
Mm.
I think I think we need to have all options, right? For people who want to maybe kind of dial back their smartphone usage and don't want to doom scroll,
Yeah,
right?
I personally think there's an age group that have nostalgia from BlackBerry days
Mhm.
that would love to go back to that type of phone,
Mm.
um, and they would probably jump on it. I think if it is as good as what it looks like it might be, I think it's got a good chance. But yeah, there's a lot of things that depend on like it
Right.
networks jumping on it, carriers
Yeah,
rather.
I say in the United States, I think, but here's the thing: if somebody who's is literally had an iPhone their entire life, this is not going to land. If this is somebody who didn't really like physical keyboard, who got off a BlackBerry, this is not going to land. If you're
No.
an Android person who's older, who kind of remembers and kind of wishes for this, I think this does land a little bit, and I think that's
Hmm.
a niche market. And I think at least you're right on. I don't think it's going to be a hit for certain people. I don't think it's going to hit for probably most people. I think it's going to be a hit for people who are old enough to remember having a phone that had a physical keyboard.
It's got a
And
place in the market, though. I think it's
I,
got a place. Whether it's a
I think
huge place in the market,
I think
no.
it
But
scratches the itch for people who want to get back to something a little
mm,
bit more retro and want to kind of get kind of. I think it does. Will it become a massive average? I don't. And honestly, if you ask Michael Fisher and his team, I don't think they really think that this is going to be a hit across mass consumer markets. I don't think so.
mm,
And
no,
we
no, no.
know it isn't. But does it feel a need for that and people who want to get back to that? I think it does.
Am I pleased to see it? Yes, very
Yeah, and you're
pleased to
done
see
with
it.
that era. You're all iOS. Fine. Then just ignore it and let it go. However, I will say that if you go online and you start blowing this thing up and being like, I don't know how these people are fucking stupid. They did it. If you're in that camp, then I would argue that, and this is not an attack on Louis. I love Louis. He's a great dude. However, if you're on the fence, what you should do is if you see something that doesn't fit for you, like I'm not an SUV guy. Like I understand that SUVs exist. I realize that most Americans want SUVs now in trucks. I want big ass vehicles. They want to drive a fucking Abrams tank. I get it. Fine. Right. I get it. You want to get 18 miles a gallon and you want to drive to work and be in this big ass fucking thing and you're not driving anybody to work because we had big vehicles. They were minivans and nobody wants to drive them because they're lame. If you're not into this, I get it. And if you're from a BlackBerry or a Palm Pre or you had a Sidekick in back in the day and you're not into the physical keyboard and it's not your jam because you've moved past all that, totally cool. I'm all good. However, if you're a tech enthusiast and you shit on this device, I would argue that you're really not a tech enthusiast. You're just kind of a hater, right? Because if you're a tech enthusiast and if you're a tech person, you want all the things, right? You want foldables and flips and
Mm,
communicators and slidable keyboards, right? Why not give people what they want? Remember, we always talk about what do we always talk about in the tech space, right? We don't want to see just no competition in the market, right? We all agree that
mm,
no competition. Well, there has to be competition from the hardware side, but also from the software side. And I think that this, again, maybe they only sell 50,000 or 100,000 units. That's fine. But I think
mhm,
that if it meets somebody's needs and they go, oh, or if you got a young person who's like, hey, I don't really like my daughter. I never thought she would ever come off an iPhone. Like Anna was like, I even suggested, and she had a Windows phone and she had my old HTC One M8 and she loved that phone and the old the One Plus 6. She had those phones and loved them. But again, it was a lot of peer pressure. She didn't have iMessage, and I get it all, right? But when Anna went and she changed from an iPhone to a flip, and I asked her, I was like, how you liking it so far? It's been a couple of months, right? Do you like the flip or are you kind of sick of it? She's like, Dad, I love this phone. It's
mm,
so cool. It's great. Is it perfect? No. I don't a lot of people still have iMessage. It fragments all of my group chats and it sucks, right? And I get it. But all in all, she's really, really enjoying it, which I thought, honestly, I wouldn't have thought that in 100 years.
yeah.
So let's just enjoy it all. And as a tech enthusiast, I get it. And if
Here's a
you're
big
an
question
Android,
for you, Sam. Right?
yeah.
Say the clicks does well enough, right?
Mm.
Do you think they'll make a second one? And the second question,
Mhm.
do you think they would make a normal slab phone as well? A click slab phone?
Oh, I don't know why we do. I guess I would argue I would argue that's already a slab phone. It's already a
Yeah, I
phone.
mean,
It just
without
has
the
a physical
keyboard, though.
keyboard. No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Why would you? I wouldn't. And here's the thing.
One that
I think
slides out or something. I don't know.
I don't even think so. I think at the end of the day, I think if the Clicks communicator takes off and they make a Clicks communicator 2, I think that would be great. I don't, again, remember we had this discussion. Remember when Microsoft were talking about the Duo, right? Are they going to make a
Mm.
Uno, right? A slab, right? A slab phone. But it's like, okay, well, if
Yeah.
you make a slab phone, then the only thing that made that unique was the fact that it was a dual screened device running. Now, if that was running a version of like Windows 10X or Windows 10
Yeah.
on ARM or whatever, then that makes a whole lot more of a compelling argument, you know. And then they actually had where they were trying to have an Android kernel where they could run Android apps within the Windows shell environment. I think that makes more sense. But if it's Android, I mean, you can make a slab phone, but then you're going to get into in the United States, you're competing against the Clicks communicator as it stands competes
Yeah.
against no phone in the market currently.
Joe, I'd love to see though, like a slidable keyboard that comes out on a newer device.
Yeah.
I'd
I'd say I really like that Mi Mix 3 when it slid up, and then, you know, I love that thing. I think the Clicks communicator right now has no direct market in 2026 comparison. Yeah, you could say the Titan 2, but and you could say, I mean, I guess you could say their own device, the Clicks, keyboard. But I think as a standalone device, I don't think so. But if they make a slab phone, I think they're just in the middle of all the Samsung and Honor and OnePlus.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I just thought I'd throw that question out.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you make the one, if it takes off well enough, and you think you have enough, your company has enough where you can kind of build up that momentum and make it Clicks 2. Do I think the Clicks communicator is a long-standing? Well, I think it'll be here in 2030. Probably not. But you know what? At least Michael Fisher and the group that he's working with, at least they're bringing something to market that people can use. And I think they're scratching the itch for people. That's an underserved market, that people who want to go back to some more retro things and have just a non-smartphone.
Yeah,
I think that I you know what, I have to give him credit. At least he's trying to serve a community of people that may be buying the phone, and maybe he already understands he might only sell 100,000, and that's really where it lives.
I'll tell you why. There's another reason I think there's a place, right? Because of laptops and computers gone to glass slabs for their keyboards, or do
some have, but nobody else. I don't think I've never seen anybody use one. No,
exactly. So the keyboard still is king,
right?
For input.
Well, and think about it. And I think the reason why is because you have a keyboard a completely separate keyboard from your display, right?
Not on laptops, you don't.
Right, on laptops you don't, but the keyboard is down here. I think nobody's going to want. I think there has to be, especially people who type. I'm not a great typist, which is funny because I'm in IT. I cannot type. My wife, however, is a very good typist, and I can't imagine her wanting to do a work laptop or work computer and not have a physical keyboard to do the typing. Maybe at some point in the future that becomes a thing, like with phones. I don't know. I don't think so.
You look more like a pianist.
A what now? A what now? What did you say?
A pianist.
A pianist. Oh, I thought.
Oh, that's how you say it. Yeah, that's
a pianist. Yeah. Okay. I thought you said something. Okay. Never mind. We're moving forward. Moving on. Yeah. And
silly dad joke.
To be honest, my preferred
you
point.
Did go like that. You gave it me.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah, I love them. I get that, man. I get that. I'm just saying that I've seen a lot of people online going, "Hey, the Clicks communicator isn't my thing," but then bagging on it. I'm like, I think that's a little too far. I think it's one of those things where let's have it all.
On that note, on that last thing Louis said, I want to see more cross collaboration of devices. So like Honor's got this really good app called Workstation, right? And Honor Connect. And you can actually connect your Honor phone to an iPad, to a Mac. And I've connected it to my Samsung laptop as well, right? Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. Now, what's stopping Louis getting a Honor phone? Obviously, apart from being in the US. with his Mac and iPad, because he said he likes Pixel, but he prefers an iPad. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, because there's some really good productive apps on iPad, right? And they're very good tablets, and Macs as well. Mac Mini is a very good machine for content creators. So it makes sense that the other brands are doing this. So I think Xiaomi's got an app that's quite similar. Pixel obviously trying to push the boundaries with this as well. This is what I think is going to be big in the future: cross platform, cross device and brands.
Right.
I think that's going to be big.
Yeah, I don't think it's the other brands. I think it's Apple who doesn't want that, because if that, I think it's because if that garden becomes a little less stable, a little less walled off, and a little bit more porous, and then people can connect to it. I mean, look at people who've tried to take their iPhone and go and move all their stuff to an Android device. Apple makes it super hard to get out of their ecosystem.
It's got better, but
it's gotten better, but it's still not great. And I think that's where it's going to be. I think at the end of the day, if Apple and the people have been pushing them to have RCS and all those kind of things, and I get it. So I think it's definitely not on the Android or Windows side. I think it's always been Apple, and I understand why they do that. And I'm not hacking on them. I if I were a company that was basically, I think they artificially wall people in, and I don't think at this point, I don't think they should have to anymore.
no.
I think if you have the better product, if a Mac's great and an iPad's great and an iPhone's great, the fact that it can talk to I don't think everybody's going to say, well, now it's so much better than it can connect to my Windows machine, or it can connect to my Samsung tablet or my Android phone. I'm just going to go all Android. I don't think that's the play. Yeah, I don't think that's the play anymore. It may have been 10 years ago, but I think people who are Mac people, and remember, this is going back to the Apple IIe and IIc days, right? They try to get them involved in academia, right? That's where Apple was. I don't think anybody's going to ditch their iMac because it connects better to a Windows device or Windows, or a Samsung tablet. I don't think that's the thing. And I think Apple needs to kind of understand that that's the next world, right?
The world of collaboration.
Well, I mean, like with Microsoft, they figured out it's a services company, right? They had their Windows phone, and everything was on Windows phone and on Windows, and they go, you know what? Let's get Outlook on a Mac. Let's get Outlook on a iOS device, right? They became a services company, and then that's how they live, right? Yeah, and actually, some people would have, at some point, people were all pissed off on the Windows phone, like, oh, well, I have a Windows phone, and it's Microsoft, and why would it be better on a Mac and iOS than it is on its own Windows phone? I said, because more people use a Mac and an Android device than a Windows device. I mean, are you serious?
Why would they spend the money on?
Right. It's like don't you want that to be anywhere and everywhere? If you want to use Outlook, that you can use a Mac, an iPad, a Samsung tablet, a Windows machine, whatever, or whatever,
That's what I love about Google, actually, because you got all the web apps, so you can go on anything web wise.
And there's a lot of people who have iOS that still, because Siri kind of sucks. Sorry, iPhone fans, Siri blows. Seriously.
They all know that. Yeah.
They all know it, so let's just call it what it is, right? But Google has done the same thing, right? They kind of saw what Microsoft was doing, and they said, hey, you can get, Google Maps on an iPhone. You can get, Google Photos, and you can check your Gmail. I think that, like, to your point, Joe, I think that's a good, solid point. It's like, I think that becomes the future where these services it's hardware, but it's service integration, and everything just works. And I think that in that way, if you're a person who, then it becomes the hardware, and then it becomes like, I like my Mac, but now my Mac works, and I don't have to fight nothing anymore. Yeah. And here's the thing. They think, you might leave and go to a Mac, right? But there might be Windows people like me. I've walked through the store sometimes and seen some iMacs and like Apple devices. They go, holy cow, that looks pretty cool. Like I would not say I wouldn't try a Mac. Like I would try a Mac. I'm not against it. It just looks like some of the costs. And then the problem is I couldn't figure out like the spec kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you might have some people go from iOS or our Mac to Windows. But I think at the same time, because the services are so ubiquitous, they may be people who are going, you know what? I've never owned a Mac. Maybe this is the time to start.
Yeah.
Try it. I mean, what the hell, right? If you're a tech dude or lady, this might be the kind of time to jump ship. And then you're going to get both sides. People are going to go both ways.
Yeah.
And some people are going to stay and some people are going to not stay. I think it's okay.
I like the fact that there's choice. That's why I want to see more choices for people, more different styles of device. Not
and choices in services too. Service choices.
Yeah, not locked into any ecosystem. You can go and do what you like and connect them all. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and I think we might get there. And I think the last fortress on the hill is Apple. If Apple starts to open up and become more of like a Microsoft and Google services company and really kind of opens up that and allows iMessage, I think they win. I really think that's going to be the push for the next 4 or 5 years. I don't know. I guess maybe that's the happy path. Maybe that's the utopia for tech.
Yeah.
Maybe it never happens. And if that's the case, that's fine. But I will tell you, if that never happens from an Apple perspective, that will guarantee that this dude will never get in that system. You're keeping me locked out, and I will stay out forever. And if I'm not your guy, fine. I really don't care. However, if you open up the entire thing and you make it cross services and that all work, maybe you get me at 60 or 55. I don't know. That's up to Apple. I mean, it's not like you guys are going to go out of business. You're $1 trillion valuated company. I don't think you're running out of money anytime soon.
No, definitely not.
So
they've got all their services as well, haven't they?
Right. And so we'll see how it goes. But at the end of the day, I think Apple's really the last bastion. I think Microsoft decided to do it. I think Google's decided to do it. I think Apple's the last one. They're kind of clinging to their walled garden. And that may work for you for a while, but I think at the end of the day, long term, the next 5 to 10 years, maybe not.
Do you think the staff changes they're making, though, might bring some change to Apple? Do you think? Who knows?
Well, I don't know. Well, you know what? Who knows? I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah.
When you have Tim Cook's gone. You have new leadership, and you have a new vision. And we'll see how it goes.
Go a different direction, couldn't it?
Yeah, or it could stay the same, and we'll see what happens.
Who knows? Let's see. This is what keeps us doing a podcast, mate.
Absolutely. So, at the end of the day, I think Apple, the ball's in their court as always, and I think they have a chance to really do well. And if they do, great. If they don't, well, that's fine too. But we'll kind of see how it goes. So, who knows? At the end of the day, it's a good conversation, and that's something we're going to continue for the next.
We'll
show.
Certainly be here to talk about it.
We will be here. We'll come back next Sunday. We were trying to see if we can get Juan Carlos Bagnell on. I know he was in CES. We're trying to reach out to him. Yeah. You saw TK at the honor show. It was kind of cool to see him.
And his son as well. It was great to see.
And his son. That's cool.
Yeah,
I think he's
starting to grow up.
Yeah, he's
massive now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of cool. So
he's a man.
Yeah, he's a man. I get it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take off. Remember, don't forget extremeskins.co.uk. Go check them out. That is, again, we love them. We always have all the skins. I don't have ones on my current phones, but I think I'm going to get some for my Pixel and then for my Fold. But check them out. Good stuff. They shipped anywhere, even if you're not in the UK or Europe. Might take a bit, but you'll get it. And good quality, and we like their stuff, and you should check them out. Extremeskins.co.uk. Jesus Christ, I'm having a bad day.
He won't help you.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, enjoy your tech. Look forward to 2026. I think we're having this is a good start. Right Clicks Communicator.
Oh, yeah, man.
CES is done. We got IFA's coming up, I guess, pretty soon, and then obviously WWDC and Microsoft Build and all that stuff, and all the Google stuff. So we're looking to see. Maybe we'll get a Pixel 10a at some point. Maybe I haven't heard anything. I literally haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know if there's a rumor about it. Who knows? Obviously, in the United States, that's what we have to look forward to because the Honors and the Vivos and the Oppos and the Realmes and the Xiaomis that's here. So we have to deal with that. Kind of stinks. I get it. And I don't think the current world environment is going to make that anytime better anytime soon. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, for myself and Joe, we always appreciate everybody coming in and so engaged in the chat. Today was so good, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions. Luis and
great
Jimmy
people in there,
Andrew, all those folks. I mean, we love seeing you guys every Sunday, having these kind of chats, having that engagement. We really, really
and to the silent listeners as well, Sam.
And for folks who just listening today and they're watching football or they catch us live later, right? You listen to the podcast and It's all good. We do that. We post that just because we want you guys to enjoy this kind of stuff. And we really look forward to not only me and Joe doing this, but also how many people in the chat come in and ask questions and engage and give us the business, right? And then here's the thing: you don't have to agree with me. If you want to come in here and you want to say you're an idiot, oh, sure, let's do it, man. Like I said, I have my own opinions on stuff, but I always like the engagement. I always like the conversation. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Just quickly saying, there's an extra PSC being slotted in tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, with Jim Fowl. I'm going to be talking about different devices. Yeah, very different devices like TCL and the Unihertz and some other bits. So it should be a good show.
Absolutely. So check out again the phone show chat. Remember, they do it fortnightly, but sometimes they'll slot in a mid show, so they'll do another one. So that means you're going to get one last week, one this Monday, and one next Monday, because they're going to still do another one for you're going to 3 in a row. It's all good. Joe, you okay? Joe's not okay. His hair is terrible. He's got his button up shirt all the way. He's probably sick. He's knackered, folks. I don't know what that means.
I'm knackered.
Tired. He's tired.
Cream crackered.
This is getting weird. Anyway. So for myself, for Joe Hickey, remember, check out the phone show chat. Check out Screen on Time YT. That's Joe's channel. Joe's channel. He does the stuff. He looks rough. Yeah, so you know what? We can't always be good looking as Jason. So what the fuck you want us to do? Whatever, man.
Yeah,
Don't be a hater. Right. So anyways, if you're listening to this shit, we're signing off. Go check out the Tech Disruptors. They're off right now. They've probably been going on for about 15 minutes. So go check them out. And at the end of the day, enjoy your tech. Celebrate the fact that there are differences in the world and just have a good conversation. See people out in the world and give them a little bit. Check out the Tech Disruptors. Absolutely. Don't forget to check them out. Go there right now because we're about to log off.
They are live on YouTube, just like this.
Just like this. And we will catch you guys next week. We don't have a guest lined up at this point, but we'll let you know. We'll see. We'll reach out to Taylor and see if we can get him rescheduled. And for myself and for Joe, thank you for tuning in to the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. We will catch you next Sunday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Again, enjoy your tech. Don't be a dick. And we will see you on the next show. Take care. We love you guys. Have a good day. Have a good week. Happy New Year. Take care.
Bye-bye.